Hello everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Chronicles of a TransMan. Now, I know this video is like months overdue, but I've been so busy with school, I've been so busy with my job, and unless y'all haven't been paying attention to my social media, I've also been very busy with the incident that has happened with my girlfriend. But here I am, and here we go. So a few months back, I asked on, I'm pretty sure it was Instagram and Facebook, what video should be my second video. And a good majority of everybody said that they wanted to see my coming out video. So, here it is. My coming out video. Taking my story way back to when I was a child, as I was growing up, my family noticed, and a lot of other people noticed, including myself, that I was hanging out more often with males. I was always making friends with males. I was always doing, the things that the guys were doing. I was climbing up on trees. I was running around, getting dirty. Not very many schools have that here, but in schools in Puerto Rico, you were supposed to wear uniforms. And I would come home with my uniform dress all torn up, or my white shirt underneath my dress all dirty, and it would piss my mom off to no end. But from a very early age, my parents noticed that there was something different about me. As I grew up, I guess I sort of started getting out of that phase, because when I moved here to Texas, I started befriending more females. I started actually making friends with girls and hanging out with girls and doing slightly girly things. But it wasn't until 7th, 8th grade that my world sort of got turned upside down. So since I was in middle school, I started hanging out more with girls, and the reason why wasn't because I found them I didn't find them sexually attractive. The reason was that I just genuinely found females attractive. Like, there's nothing wrong with a female looking at another female and going, "Huh, she's really pretty." And that's basically what was happening to me. But around 7th or 8th grade, I got invited to a bowling party, like a bowling alley party, with all my girlfriends, and by that I mean female friends, not my girlfriends. But so I got invited to this party, and everything was going good until one of my female friends decided to take a bandana that was really important to me. My mom had given it to me for my birthday, and I started chasing her around the bowling alley. One of my other female friends wanted to help out and got involved, so she started trying to chase her from the other side. So I turned a corner, and my friend turned another corner, and we ended up face planting at the very end of the corner. But the way that we face planted was very odd, because we ended up face planting and our lips were touching. So I backed away, like, okay, I'm going to pretend like this didn't happen. And for weeks after, I was thinking to myself, okay, what I did was wrong. If anybody finds out, they're going to be mad at me. I'm going to be in trouble. I'm not supposed to have done that. What was put in my mind was, you're supposed to marry a man, have kids, the usual. But I couldn't help the fact that I liked the way that felt. But even so, I tried to suppress those feelings. And it wasn't until maybe 2-3 weeks after the fact that it happened, the girl had messaged me. And when she messaged me about it, my initial thought was, oh God, I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to lose a friend over a stupid incident that happened. And in reality, we started talking a little bit more about what had happened and how it made me feel, how it made her feel, what was going to happen afterwards, what the best course of action after that little incident was. And we ended up deciding that, yeah, I liked it, and, she liked it, and we both liked each other. So we started dating, because I wouldn't consider it dating. I don't know what you would call dating in middle school, but we started dating. And it was all going fine until towards the end of 8th grade, her mom found out that she was dating a female. Keep in mind, her family is very, very religious, so that was a big no-no. The mom found out, she ended up yelling at her daughter, cussing me out. She went up to my mom's work and caused so much drama. And had it not been the fact that it was the end of the school year, I'm pretty sure that this lady would have taken her daughter out and put her in a different school just so she could be away from me. But the fact that I was moving away to a different high school just sort of made things better. And it was the end of the school year. So, during this time, my mom knew that I was having this little relationship with this girl, and she wasn't very happy. She was constantly telling me that, no, you don't know what you want, you don't know what love is, you can't possibly know what it is to be in love, this is just a phase, you're gonna grow past this. And when I got into my freshman year of high school, I thought that it would please my parents if I started dating guys. So I tried dating about, I think, 1 or 2 guys in high school, and it didn't feel the same. The intimate kissing moment that I had between them didn't feel the same as the intimate kissing moment that I had with this girl. And I didn't like it. So instead of dating guys, I stopped dating guys altogether, and I secretly went on to date girls in high school. Not that I think it was a secret anyway. I think my mom knew all along, but I dated a couple girls in high school, and the relationships with them weren't all too well, but I learned a lot of myself in that time. And by junior year, I learned that I felt extremely different. Like, changing in locker rooms for PE was extremely hard for me, not because I felt weird with girls staring at me. That was a big part of it, but it wasn't because I felt weird that girls were staring at me. It was because I didn't feel comfortable with these girls having to sit in a locker room in which I was in as well, because I was admiring these girls. I was looking at these girls, and I didn't feel like they should have to be subjected to that because of me. Aside from just feeling genuinely uncomfortable, because at the time, I wasn't necessarily allowed to shave my legs. Don't know why, but I would let my leg hair grow out without even thinking about it. So I would wear jeans all the time to school, and having to take my pants off in front of a group of girls who was already shaving, probably some of these girls were going to places to professionally get their nether regions waxed or whatever, and I wasn't even allowed to shave. So that was just, aside from being embarrassing, I was genuinely uncomfortable changing in front of females because I felt awkward. And I would end up changing in the bathroom locker room, which, by the way, that became not allowed afterwards because apparently people were taking too long to change in the stalls. But around my junior year is when I decided to sit down with one of my close friends and tell her, hey, I genuinely feel uncomfortable. Like, I feel uncomfortable being treated certain ways at certain times. What I told her was that I felt like a man inside of a girl's body. I felt like I had masculine mannerisms, but I was just stuck inside the body of a girl. And she's like, hey, dude, don't even worry about it. That's called being gender fluid. And once she told me, I felt like I had found sort of the answers to the questions I've been asking myself, but it wasn't entirely what I wanted. But after that, that was the friend that actually gave me the name that I have right now. She told me that day that she was going to stop calling me by my female name, and ever since then, to her, I was Sergey. But it wasn't until senior year, the end of after senior year, that I finally made peace with the fact that I was trans. And I made peace with the fact that I was trans because I'd gotten into a relationship with a girl in which I told her, hey, this is how I feel. I feel like a man inside a girl's body. But I moved out of my parents' house, and I started acting upon some of the things that I wasn't allowed to act upon in high school. In high school, I would get in trouble a lot because my mom would catch me stealing my younger brother's clothes to wear them to school. Like I would wear his clean boxers. I would steal a pair of his clean boxers and put him on at school, or some of his shirts. I would wear maybe something girly, and when I got to school, I would change into baggy pants and like a t-shirt like this or something. And I started, after I moved out, I started getting into a lot of that stuff. I started, instead of going to the women's section, I started buying my things at the men's section. Instead of, coming out of the bathroom with the towel wrapped around everything, I would only come out of the bathroom with my towel wrapped around my waist. And these small things began to piss my current girlfriend off to no end. She would get mad at the fact that I would wear Axe or wear Old Spice deodorant. She would get mad at the fact that I would get misgendered by waitresses or waiters whenever we went out in public. And she was just not having it. At some point, I told her how I felt. I finally decided to come up to her and tell her, look, I don't feel like a man inside a girl's body anymore. I want to be a man. I don't feel comfortable in this body. I told her having to stare at myself when I get out of the bathroom and I'm just naked, having to stare at all of this just makes me extremely uncomfortable. Being called ma'am, miss, lady, it was starting to get on my nerves. And when I told her this, the one thing that I will never forget her telling me that will always stay in my mind is, if I had wanted to date a guy, I would have not broken up with my ex-boyfriend. At that moment, I realized that she didn't truly love me for who I was. So I spiraled into this very, very deep depression, which I ended up pushing a lot of my close friends away. I pushed my family away, and I put myself in an overall bad spot. And it took almost a year for me to open my eyes and realize that aside from her being toxic and aside from her not truly loving me for who I really was, she was cheating on me anyways. So I broke off the relationship, and I needed to get away from the drama. I needed to get away from all the negative feelings that I was getting from this girl. So I moved away. I moved away from everybody. No warning, no nothing. And I just moved 13 hours away to New Mexico, where my best friend was willing to give me a place to stay. But after I lived in New Mexico for about 6 months, I was finally able to basically sit down and reconnect with myself, reconnect with who I was and who I wanted to be. And I came to the peaceful resolution that I wanted to be a man, and nobody was going to change that. And now I have supportive family, supportive friends, and I couldn't ask for anything better. So that is my coming out story. My thing's about to die. I need my charger. No. Hurry up, I'll take a shower.